takes slow. The night gets deep. Your silhouette a secret I keep. Whispers crawl where the shadows lead. Velvet skies, your name's a song.
Hey, welcome to Sacred and Naked. I'm Charity, your sacred intimacy guide. And if you are looking for an intimate view on healing or love, self-love, partnered love, any kind of love, or if you need a reminder that you're not alone, you have come to the right place. Welcome to my safe space. I am pretty excited to share what happened to me recently within the past week or so. Especially after the episode with Queen and talking about why I came to her and the work I've done within that year and how it has really transformed me. I have like a praise report or a full circle moment to share. So when I came to Queen initially, a little over a year ago, my father wound was so loud, and I have made a few videos on my father wound and like how it has affected me, and my relationships with men, my relationship with myself, my subconscious beliefs in myself that I was unworthy of love and not valuable if I wasn't the person that my dad wanted me to be, even though I did do all the things. I got married before I had kids. I'm still married to the same man. All my kids are by the same guy. I became a teacher. Like, I did honorable things, supposedly the things that I was taught to do. And it just did not seem to be enough. I just did not feel loved by him. I did not feel seen by him. I did not feel accepted by him. And so what that led me to do was like chase relationships with men, sexual relationships with men. And I thought that sex was love. And I think that many women can relate to that have a very loud father wound. It shows up in your relationships with men a lot of times, kind of looking for love in all the wrong places. We've heard that before, but like in your sexual relationships with men. So when I started this podcast 4 months ago, and it's been doing super well. Shout out to y'all for the support that you guys have shown. I started a series called Finding Daddy, where I shouted out my lovers. I kind of turned pain into power, and I just really pulled out the good parts of the relationships that helped me to become this woman that you see in front of you today. Very confident, very magnetic, juicy and sexy, and just authentic. The most authentic I've ever been. The most whole I've ever been. I am a fully realized, fully expressive woman, and that really is due to the healing that I've done and I found, especially in those relationships with men and healing my relationship with the masculine. Okay. So if you go back to the episodes, I do talk about my favorite, the one I called daddy. My favorite was my soulmate, the one that I had the 6.5 year or so on and off sexual relationship, and he became my favorite lover because we had been in that space for so long. We really connected emotionally. Our emotional intimacy is definitely top tier, which made our sex incredible, and he became the healing dick that I was longing for. But my favorite masculine energy, my favorite dominant energy, I am a sucker for a man that can command me. And I had been searching for it for a long time. And I came across Q, and he just radiated this super fucking dominant, ex-military, I don't know, super fucking just masculine. I naturally just submitted in his presence. Oh my God, very arousing. So anyway, spent a lot of time, maybe about 2 years. Maybe about 2 years in that space. And really battling with my self-respect and my self-worth. I did a lot of elevating in that space with him. I used him as a mirror, and I was like, okay, I'm dealing with this with him. That means that I'm dealing with this within myself, and let me kind of tackle this within myself. And I did that, and he really had this hold on me just because one, he's fine as a motherfucker, just fine, just the finest man I've ever seen in my fucking life. That where I live at, I'm saying, you have celebrities that are fine, but an actual somebody that I can touch and whatever, the finest motherfucker that I've ever come across, and with the most dominating, commanding, but he was so good with layering it with praises and compliments. For me, he was so perfect that he just had this hold on me. I just was willing to really kind of put up with anything to be in that space, which let me know my lack of self-respect and my, there's some lack of self-love there, self-worth, those areas needed work. So I did work in those spaces as I dealt with him. Also, while giving him a safe space just to be, he was able to come in and out. I knew he was dealing with his own things, and I just naturally am somebody who can maneuver around people's things, their internal things or whatever. So did all the work. Queen was telling me, this is not about Q. This is your father wound. It's loud, And so I'm like, oh, dang, I'm still dealing with this. I felt like I released my dad. Yes, I wanted a relationship with him, but okay, he did the best he could. He can't give me the relationship that I want. I released him, whatever, and thought I was moving on. And so fast forward to November. I started the podcast in November, and that's when I started to pull away from sex with Q. I was having a conversation with my producer. It kind of stung a little bit, and this guy is not the guy for you. All right, let me be logical about this. Let me really explore what the hold is. And so I did that, and I started to deny him sex. I started to pull away. I started to make excuses on, like, not showing up or whatever. And November denied him, December denied him, January he didn't really reach out. So like I just had space to like really get myself together, and like I just really was not expecting to hear from him anymore. Like, he just kind of does this in and out thing, and I was over it. I was over it. And when I pull away from sex, like, it becomes easier for me to pull away emotionally. Like, sex is normally the first thing to really go. And then I can kind of stand up for myself emotionally. And so, I want to say he reached out on Valentine's Day, which is very ironic. Reached out, hey, I'm checking on you. And I kept it short. Thank you. And I did not reply. And then but I did masturbate. Cause like, oh yeah, damn. And I masturbate. I'm like, oh, okay. And so I know when I visualize a certain person, I kind of call them as I masturbate. I like call them in. So I knew that I would hear from him again because I was energetically calling him in with my sexual energy. That's a thing. I've done it before. I do it often. I even have done it with the crush that I have now. And so I knew I was going to hear from him. And I was just very ready to have a poker face, just be like, I'm good, whatever. And so we talked, and, he was like, you're my, I really like that thing that you do. You take your time, you listen to me, whatever. I really want that right now. And I'm like, no, find somebody else to do it. You got somebody else to do it. Find somebody else to do it. And he was like, I don't want nobody else. I want you. Okay, but no. And he just was very persistent. Is it your girlfriend? Like, she's the reason why, she's not letting you be with men no more? No, that's not it. I could be with who I want to be with. That's, I'm poly, like, I get it, whatever. And so then we got into the real expression of my feelings, right? And so I just was honest and saying, like, I don't like how you come in and out of my life. Like, I just don't like that anymore. I'm done with that. We just don't want the same things. I want a healthy sexual relationship, and we're not on the same page. And he was like, I'm protecting you from me. And I'm like, I don't want that, though. I want you to be you, but I want you to be more intentional. And I'm a very intentional person. So intentionality is very important to me, because with intentionality is consistency and care. Like, he's a very, very selfish lover. Just kind of picks you up when he wants you or when he needs you. And then, on to the next when he's done with that space. And, I wish all the women were doing the same work that I was doing, where they could tell him, no, they'll value themselves. They could tell him no, so he'll be forced to do the work that he needs to do within himself. He really has a lot of great potential. But anyway, whatever. So I said all my stuff. And he was like, I understand, take care. He was very respectful. I was a little bit surprised by that. Not much, because I have seen him respect me in a different way than he has done, a few other women. So But he was, very respectful and like, okay, take care, whatever. And that was it. And I was so grateful that I was able to express myself. So I had already taken sex away. Energetically, I was like, I'm done. But to get the opportunity to get closure, to release my feelings, to express my feelings, to release it, and to release him fully, I was super fucking grateful, right? Like, that was a gift to be able to do. And I felt like 1,000,000 pounds had been lifted off of me. Like, I felt like the shackles had been released. Like, this guy really had a hold on me. Like, I really was not my higher self in that space with him. I really was a wounded feminine. Like, the two, like me and the person I was in that space with him, like, they're unrecognizable. Like, you'll be like, no, that's definitely not the woman that sits before you episode after episode telling you how healed she is, how whole she is, how strong and powerful and magnetic she is. I was not that person with him. Anyway, so released him. So my whole roster is clear. I have no masculine lovers. I was ghosted by a 1 week something. My soulmate, favorite lover, whatever, I have not heard from him. I'm thinking that, he's probably become more serious about his girlfriend. I respect all of that. No love lost. I trust the universe. I trust God. Do your thing. Love you still. I'm grateful for everything, So then I'm out celebrating. I celebrate like a couple nights in a row. I'm out drinking and everything. And I have this conversation with Queen. And it's a longing for my dad. A thought came that was like, if I died today, I will not have felt love for my dad. I will not have known love for my dad. And that is sad to me, Or if he died, I would not have felt or known love for my dad, and I want that. I really do want that. And so anyway, that just was the energetic thing or whatever. And so she and I were talking about it, and it was so crazy because on my way to see her Friday night, my dad had called me. I missed the call, but I saw that he had called, and I texted him like, hey, I'm going out to celebrate, whatever, I'll call you tomorrow. He was like, okay. And so I had this conversation with Queen Friday night just about my dad and the longing for my dad. And the next day I didn't call him, and Sunday I didn't call him, and Monday morning I was like, oh shit, I need to call my dad, whatever. I just feel anxiety behind it. I don't know why he called, what we're gonna say, whatever. So Monday morning, a little bit after I had this inner dialogue with myself, my dad calls me and leaves a voicemail because I missed the call. And he was like, hey, I waited on your call. It's important. I need you to call me back. Oh shit. Okay. So I called him back and I said, do you want, I'm in and out. Like, I have some errands to run, whatever. Do you want me to call you back or do you want me to come over? And he was like, either one of them. And so I was like, I'm gonna come over. I'll call you when I finish running my errands and whatever. So okay. So I go over there and he was like, I'm gonna start this off if that's okay. I'm like, all right. So he starts to talk about when I left the house at 19. I was dating my husband, and me and my dad had gotten to it really bad that day. And I was like, it was really bad, and we were both like, fuck this. He was like, you know, you need to leave my house. I'm like, you ain't gotta ask me twice. I don't want to be here no way. And it was really bad. Okay. So he was like, do you remember that? Do you remember like the fervor behind that? You remember this, you know, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I remember it. And he was like, with that same energy, I'm asking you to come back home. And I was like, what? You know? And he started talking about like the prodigal son, like that story. And I won't, you know, you can look that up. But more focus on the dad and how the dad's energy in it, and how the dad was running towards the prodigal son, like running to welcome him back, like excited to have him, you know, whatever. And he was like, that's what God showed me in a dream or a vision that morning, like me running towards you, me, you know, what, you know, excited to have you back with me. Like, come home. There's room for you here. I know you feel like I don't love you. I know you feel like, you know, this, that, and other. That is not true. And I am committed to showing you that I love you more now than I ever have. And that was a huge deal, because my whole battle with my father and this father wound is, you are my father. And the reason why this gap between us is here is because of the relationship that you cultivated. As a parent, I know that I am responsible for curating and cultivating the relationship between my children and I. I started here, and then as they grow and they grow older, it's kind of like their responsibility, kind of, not their responsibility, but whatever I've created with them, that gives them, you know, the safety or lack thereof to like continue the relationship or not, right? And so my whole thing is, you got to come get me. Like, you know, to me, you're the reason why I didn't feel loved, and you're the reason why there's a gap here between us. You're the reason why we don't have a relationship, and so you have to come get me. And so that's the energy that I've been giving, not to my dad, but like when I talk about it with Queen, or when I talk about it with anybody else, or when I talk about it with God, like, my dad has to come get me. I need my dad to come get me. And I did mention, I think in a previous episode, that is how my trauma kind of manifests too. Like, if we have a relationship and some kind of trust or something is broken, or, you know, there's something that happens within that relationship where the bond is kind of broken or something, I need you to come get me. If not, like, the relationship will be over with, because that's just how I've learned to protect myself. And so this conversation with my dad turned into a 5-hour conversation. I stayed over there for 5 hours, and we didn't talk the whole time about this thing. Like, I kind of just listened to him talk through some things. But I don't think it's a coincidence that my roster is cleared, right? Like, I have no masculine lovers. I was able to release Q, and my dad is now able to, I was open, and my dad was able to, you know, come get me. You know what I mean? Like, all that work I've been doing, healing my relationship with the masculine, and navigating through these relationships with men, and really becoming whole, becoming whole, whether my dad could be the dad I wanted him to be or not, is a huge deal. Like, huge deal. Man, I think it speaks to the work that I've been doing for this year, you know, maybe year, not, it's not quite a year and a half, with Queen. When I first came to her, I was a little bitty girl, sad about her dad. And I didn't know that at the time. When I came in there, I thought I was, help me leave my husband. Like, I'm unhappy. I don't want to be married anymore. And she saw through that and said, you have a father wound that is so loud, and I was crying and whatever. And I've done work on that. And that work has allowed my dad to say, hey, I want to show up for you. So, dang. full circle moment. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to really see the progress from that little girl who was so hurt and so broken, feeling so unloved, to the woman that I am right now, sitting before you, who is not dependent on outside validation from a man to know that she is worthy. And that I was able to heal that and still experience while my dad is alive. It's new. I mean, he made the effort, he said the things. I did ask him, like, okay, what does that look like? Because I'm definitely not the little girl, you know what I'm saying, that was in your house. I'm very much grown and I have my convictions and I'm living my own lifestyle, and you won't be able to mold me into that girl, the person that you want me to be. I'm living as I was created to be. So we talked about that, and we talked about respect, and we talked about, respecting each other's stances and all that type of stuff. But to be able to do all that work and my dad still be alive, for me to voice to God and say, I don't want to die, or I don't want him to die before I can feel his love for me, and for that opportunity to be given to me, to be gifted to me, is a huge deal. A huge fucking deal that I do not take lightly. So this space right here, where I am reestablishing my relationship with the masculine, right? Where I'm experiencing more healthy relationships with the masculine, where I am afforded the opportunity to figure out what that looks like with my dad. That already is. My relationship with the masculine has already changed. My relationship with my husband has changed a lot. My relationship with men, I'm able to be soft with them, even in disagreement. I can respect them, whether, they're healed or not, or they're toxic or not, or whatever. That comes from my healing, But to be afforded this opportunity at 39, I've called it in for myself, speaks to the diligence of healing. The work is hard as fuck. It is hard to do. I've been in some very uncomfortable spaces, and Never thought I would get here. Never thought I would get here. Again, it's new. Like, we just initiated it and all that, but it's a gift. It's a gift. I'm excited. I'm excited not to have a roster. That's crazy. That's not normally me. But yes, clear my path so I can get this love from my dad that I've wanted my whole life. Yes, clear my space. I don't want any distractions. The little Charity in me is apprehensive, right? Because, what does this look like? We don't have safe experiences, safe evidence that this is gonna go well, right? But healed Charity, big Charity, is I got you. Whether he moves the way we want him to or not, this is a gift. This is an opportunity to continue healing. So there's no more finding daddy. Daddy found me and came and got me, and I am excited to see now what my relationships with men look like moving forward. Dad, if you see this, don't know if you will, but I love you and thank you for coming to get me. That effort, that gesture in itself is very healing. Of course, let me know in the comments. This was a really kind of vulnerable thing to talk about, but let me know your thoughts and maybe your experiences with your father wound. Wow. Okay. I gotta go, but please like and share and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to come over here to the healing side. Until next time, I love you.